Everyone in this room is all that is left of the IMF. The Secretary has initiated Ghost Protocol. Hello everyone! The road to Mission Impossible Fallout continues. 2011 brought us Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the fourth film in a franchise, and I have to say, this is a very well-crafted film. The only cons I have is the humor. I don't really like the character of Brandt too much, Jeremy Renner, and the villain is kind of weak compared to the previous one and Mission Impossible 3. Other than that, you have Brad Bird give a fantastic film. His first live-action film. He directed Pixar films such as Ratatouille and The Incredibles, and he brings a certain fresh quality to Ghost Protocol. It's a cool-looking film. It has an amount of energy that was missing in the first three. Something about it feels like it's been given a second life in many ways, but at the same time, it's also closer to its television roots with a team working together to stop this terrorist. Kurt Hendricks, part of an organization called Cobalt. There's a lot of similarities to the first film. Hell, even the guy who brings in the mask was the same guy. Other than that, though, we don't have Ving Rhames as Luther Stickle until a cameo at the end. We have Jeremy Renner, Paula Patton, Josh Holloway. Simon Pegg has been recruited back as a field agent now. He no longer has a desk job as Benji. He's an IMF agent. We have Léa Seydoux as a hit woman, and Michael Novakist as Hendricks. I love it. I love this film. Tom Wilkinson is also the secretary in this briefly. And it's a story where Ethan Hunt is in this prison. We don't know why. And he gets broken out at the beginning of the film. They need his help. And supposedly he's after some Russian nuclear codes. I love it. There's a certain amount of detail that's there, just like the first film, where we get to see Hendricks there at the Kremlin at the beginning, infiltrate the building, steal the codes, and basically frame Ethan Hunt and his team, frame the IMF before the Kremlin blows up. Such an intense sequence. That movie could not be made now with certain stuff, but yeah. I love that opening. When you rewatch it, you catch different things, much like the original Brian De Palma film. Anyways, the Kremlin gets blown up, and they blame the U.S. government. They blame the IMF. So every agent has been disavowed, and they have initiated Ghost Protocol. And the secretary gets Ethan Hunt aside and says, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to stop Cobalt. And the catch is, if he's caught, to be branded as a terrorist out to incite global nuclear war. So the stakes are higher in that regard, but I love it. He has a team dynamic again. The team, though, they screw up a lot. So much to the point where I'm like, how are you in the IMF? Brandt comes across as annoying, but there's more to his character. He was written as a potential replacement for Tom Cruise in case he decides to leave. I really hope that's not anytime soon, because Jeremy Renner can't carry Mission Impossible. But I like the story. It starts in Prague, and then goes to Dubai. There's that wonderful scene that rivals the first film in Langley on the Burj Khalifa. They filmed that for real. They filmed that in IMAX. That was nuts. Blue is glue, red is dead. Timetable set, but then they also have a switcheroo with a meeting. There's a certain mind game element that's from the television show. We also go to India and different areas like that, Seattle. Different locations that we've never seen before in Mission Impossible. And we get to learn more about Ethan Hunt and what happened to him in between Mission Impossible 3 and 4. In the original script, Julia was supposed to actually die, and Simon Pegg brought it up to the director. Hey, you remember Alien 3? After seeing Aliens, we're rooting for the characters and then they died off screen? Don't do that. So luckily, Julia survived, but he pretty much faked her death to protect her. And it's a good jumping point to the Syndicate, which is also a villain organization from the television series. I really like this movie. The cinematography, the action, that desert sandstorm is just nuts. That chase, that car. Ethan Hunt gets hurt here. Has a certain amount of coolness with the gadgets. I love the hologram gadget at the Kremlin. That car he had with the map on the windshield was amazing. That final fight. Everything about this film is very well done. I give it a 4 out of 5 and an A. It's not my favorite. I'm personally more of a fan of the darker Mission Impossibles, but this is still a solid film, and it's one of those where I think they finally started to get the formula right. They weren't sure if they wanted just the espionage, the action. This has a right amount of everything, and they made it lighthearted on purpose after how dark 3 was. Whether you're a fan of that or not, you can't deny how entertaining this film is, and this is definitely one of the better Mission Impossibles. They have an explanation for his hair being long. And yeah, there's a lot of similarities to the first film in many ways, and in a way, it gets back to its roots while revitalizing it for this decade. And Yeah, Mission Impossible 3 started the ball rolling, but with MI3 and this is what led to Rogue Nation and the upcoming Fallout. And I have to say, for a first-time director in the live-action realm, that's very well done. That's one thing about the Mission Impossible films. They get different directors with different visions, different styles, and it brings a certain refreshing quality with each entry. And because of that, it really brought some life. It relit the fuse. It reignited the fuse, so to speak, for Mission Impossible in many, many ways. And they started finally doing stuff for real instead of just with green screen. And this is a film that really started to progress the quality of these movies in many ways. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. What's your favorite Mission Impossible film? What's your favorite moment from Ghost Protocol? I just love that Burj Khalifa scene. So intense, and it was filmed in IMAX. It's a shame we haven't had an IMAX square box version on video, but I have to say, it's amazing, amazing. The villain, again, is weak, but there's some deleted scenes where we get to see his motivations, and I wish they kept him in. It made him more of a complex villain. He believes he's doing the right thing. By causing nuclear war, he thinks he's bringing peace. It makes his motivations more clear. But it's kind of cool having Cobalt. I mean, I know they're all disavowed, and they're kind of rogue in a way, but it's nice with them going after someone else who's not a mole in the IMF. It's like another organization, so there's no traitor in the IMF. And that makes it kind of cool. It's like another organization entirely with Cobalt, and I like that. Again, there's some twists and turns in this story, but there's definitely a lot more humor in this. Let me know your thoughts of the film, and feel free to follow me on the Stardust app at Fred Film Fanatic. Like, comment, subscribe. If you choose to accept, here are some missions you can check out on my channel. Tomorrow, see my review of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.